Hey everybody, thanks for watching the Arkansas Gun Guy. Today, kind of an unofficial follow-up video to my most requested video. Previously, I had tons of requests to review the compact carry version of the Beretta PX4 to the compact CZ polymer gun, the P07. And again, had a lot of fun making that video. I learned a lot from you guys just chatting with the comments. And absolutely no one has asked for the full-size comparison, but I own both full-size guns. I like full-size guns, so I thought, why not take a look at these guys? So we'll do a quick side-by-side looking at the similarities and differences. Then I'll take them to the range, see how I'll shoot them side-by-side. And we'll try to do more of that in my videos per your request. I'll shoot this guy at one target, this guy another target, and see how I do grouping them. Hopefully I can hit the bad guy. So again, as always, I'd love to hear from you guys. Do you have experience with one or the other or both? What are your preferences? What are your likes and dislikes? People are researching these guns, read your comments, and I think find them super valuable. So I'll try to go pretty fast because I've done in-depth videos on both of these already, but these are both full-size polymer frame hammer-fired guns. Now, polymer guns are definitely all the rage, but not hammer fire. Very few people care about polymer and hammer. And in that realm, usually H&K owns everything, all the attention with the USP series and P30 series. Not a ton of people talk about the PX4. That's changing, but not a ton of people talk about it. And no one talks about the CZ polymers, I feel like, especially the full-size P09. So here we go. Again, this gun, full transparency, the CZ is a bone stock firearm I bought on fire sale online for like a crazy price. I think in the high $300 range. So it was on a fire sale, crazy good price. This Beretta, it was a stock Beretta that I sent to Langdon Tactical for an upgrade. So it actually has an enhanced trigger we'll take a look at, as well as different sights. So not an apples-to-apples comparison because this gun probably cost over 3 times what this gun cost. Keep that in mind. So both guns have removable adjustable back straps. Both of these are size medium. The Beretta only goes up about halfway, where the CZ goes all the way up. Again, they come in small, medium, and large. Capacity on the CZ is very impressive at 19 plus 1. That's the biggest capacity I own on any firearm, I think. That's a pistol. So 19 plus 1 on the CZ, where it is 17 plus 1 on the Beretta. Again, both full size, but the CZ is quite a bit longer and quite a bit taller as well. I'll look at these guys top to top so you can kind of see. If I can get the back lined up here. This won't come across on camera, but the CZ is quite a bit bigger with a much longer sight radius too. Look, the sights come back to here and up to here, and I think that'll make this guy a really good shooter. Both guns have, again, texturing on the front and back of their the grip, but the CZ has nice aggressive texturing on the side as well with the CZ logo, but you've got one type of texturing here, another type of texturing there, as well as some tighter stippling up here on the front. The Beretta, a very sleek looking gun. A gun that gets lots of comments for being odd, I think futuristic looking, but part of that sleekness is the fact that there's no stippling on the side panel there. And a lot of people don't like that, and they run Talon grip tape on there. I've had no issues running, just going to the range and punching holes in paper, keeping control with the front and rear stippling on this firearm. But again, a lot of people do not like that part of it, and will trade out or install Talon grip tape on there. Again, I mentioned the curvaceousness of the PX4, is that a word? That the P09 is actually much straighter, got much straighter lines, except for the beaver tail. Very sharp angles on the trigger guard versus rounded angles here. I also find it interesting that being a full-size Beretta, you only get one pick rail up here in the front. I guess that works for your lights, lasers, and chainsaws, but I always just find that an interesting design because if you look at the P09, which has a longer slide, longer barrel, you can get like 30 pick rails on here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots on there. So again, big difference in pick rails. Probably wouldn't make a difference when we place anything. Both have the mag release on the left. I don't know that they're reversible. They both have ambi safeties and or decockers. My Beretta is equipped with a decocker and safety. So cock the firearm, you can decock it like this. When you decock it, actually remains in safe mode, trigger down. You have to activate it by flipping up, much like the M9 with the slide mounted safety. Some people don't like that. I don't have a problem with it. The CZ comes with CZ's Omega trigger system, which means you can take this decocker, if I cock the firearm, and this is ambi as well, and trade it out for a safety to carry it cocked and locked. It's supposedly pretty easy to install. I haven't done it. I'm not going to do it. but that is something you can do. So both come with decockers on this. Both have this kind of same hammer design as well. If I look at the sights, my Beretta came with 3-dot sights like the CZ, like this, 3 white dots. However, I upgraded them with some Ameriglows. I'll show you in a second. But I love this long sight radius on the CZ. That usually helps me shoot a little better. So if I look at the Beretta, again, these are the Ameriglow night sights from Langdon Tactical. So I love that sight picture as well. You can see that Ernest autographed it for me for a $20 charge. So again, this gun has been modified from the original stock configuration by Langdon Tactical. What else? So lastly, I'll look at the triggers before we head out to the range. The CZ again is a very stock trigger. Double action, single action, double action. Again, it's kind of straight with a little hook at the bottom. Very heavy, but straight double action pull. The reset, kind of long. Ooh, with a little bit of take up, and a little bit of creep or mush. And it goes again. Let's try that one more time. So again, you got reset there, a little bit of take up, some creep, and then it breaks. So interesting there. On the Beretta, again, don't blink, you'll miss the reset on this guy. So the double action pull is so light. It's less than half of this one, probably 40% of this guy. I think it's rated like at 5 or 6 pounds. So crazy double action pull, super light. Here's the reset, don't blink, you'll miss it. That was it. So, and then there's no take up, you're right back at the wall. One of my favorite things in the world is this trigger. Boom, and there you are. So excellent trigger. Again, keep in mind, this gun costs 3 times what this gun costs. And if you're trying to shoot a bad guy, does that make a difference? I don't know. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section, so feel free to sound off. Ooh, one more thing I forgot to mention. I do love this thing that CZ has up here, additional texturing, like index points for your support hand or trigger finger. So love, love, love that feature. So just a nice touch for a gun that is not terribly expensive. So I think that's great. The only other question I really have, and it'll take me years to find out, is the longevity. I've heard reports of people having tens of thousands of rounds to these Berettas. I've actually talked to several people that have just amazing round counts to these guys, supposedly super indestructible. I've heard good things about CZs as well, but I'm also always hearing don't dry fire them, which I just did. So I hope that this gun is as reliable as this gun long term. So again, if you have experience, please let me know. So I'm going to pack these guys up, take them to the range, and then again, we'll see how I do it down there. As always, thanks so much for watching. Man, one thing I forgot to mention before I go to the range, the reasons I love these guns so much is because they're both kind of unique. Again, if you know the guns, you already know. I talk about it a lot on the channel. But if you're new to the channel, I like the fact that both these guys have interesting recoil reduction systems. I'll start with the CZ, which has the famous CZ inverted rail, where the slide rides inside the frame. You can see it causes it to sit down much lower. So you can see the slide rides down inside there, and that causes less slide mass to be flying back at you. And while it does have the Browning tilting barrel design where the barrel tilts up, you know, this less mass coming back, in theory, will help with muzzle rise. But on the Beretta, you can see you have more slide mass coming back, well, more steel up here, because this guy has a traditional slide set up where the slide rides on top of the rail, so it sits higher. But to help counteract that, they have, I think, a very unique system, a rotating barrel design. Instead of the barrel tilting down to pick up the next round, like the CZ or most other guns, the barrel rotates. That does 2 things. It loads the next round, but also dissipates energy. So I think that is a super cool feature that, again, not all firearms have that. And you can see the barrel remains straight, doesn't tilt up. So again, just a couple of interesting recoil reduction systems in both firearms, I think make them interesting. Forgot to include that in my speed version of the review before. So now off to the range. Thanks again. Okay, just back from the range. I'm actually gonna put the range footage at the end of the video. I'm gonna clean these guys up now, but I'm gonna make a couple of comments before I did the range videos. First, I apologize. My phone audio sucks at the range. Other people are shooting, so you clearly can't hear. But I'll tell you what you're gonna see. I first shot the P09 at 7 yards through target 1, and I shot the PX4 through target 2. I put 10 rounds through them first. And I shot the P09 slightly better, I think, through the first 10 rounds. But then I went ahead and put 30 more rounds through there, not on camera. I just kept shooting the same targets. And at the end of the day, I'd say it's pretty much a draw. I had one flyer here in the P09, 100% my fault. But I think, they both had really good groupings. Probably the Beretta was a little better as far as groupings go. But again, this gun costs 3 times what this gun cost, and I have, thousands of rounds to this gun, or I have hundreds of rounds to this gun. So very pleased with how the P09 shot, for not having tons of rounds through it, and for the price I paid for it. Both fantastic options. Again, we'd love to hear your guys' feedback as well. One last thing I want to call out. I mentioned before that I love these memory pads on the P09. I forgot to mention that the Beretta actually has some pretty cool index points as well here with these takedown levers. When you hold a firearm, you can put your index finger there, or your support hand can also kind of rest there. So again, just a couple of really interesting features that are kind of similar for both guns. So now I'll roll in the range footage again. There'll be 10 rounds of each going through there, and at the end I'll just have a snapshot of the targets with a total of 40 rounds to targets 1 and target 2. As always, thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe, and tell your friends to like and subscribe so I can have world domination. Thanks. All right, here we go with the CZ P09 and the Beretta PX4, shooting at 124 grain and shooting at 7 yards. So I'll turn this off and flip the camera around. So going 10 rounds first with the CZ P09, 7 yards. This is the target 1. Rounds, Beretta PX4 at target 2. One flyer of the CZ. As you know, there's 10 rounds of the CZ. Over here, there's 10 rounds on the PX4. Got them all. Got pretty groupings with that cheap CZ. Okay, follow-up video here. First time I put 10 rounds to each target, and I shot the CZ slightly better than the PX4. I put 30 rounds more to each of the 2 targets. Again, on the P10, try to do this backwards. I had one flyer here, that was my fault. I had a couple that were out of the edges, but in general, pretty tight groupings. About 40 rounds altogether. The PX4, I was a little bit behind on the first 2 rounds, but at the time, pretty good groupings, for me at least. So, I'll call it a draw, although I still think the PX4 still feels the best when I shoot it. But man, that P10 is something nice for a fairly inexpensive gun that does a lot. So there you go.